From the plastic keeping our lunch fresh to the tyres on our cars getting us to work, we all use a wide range of products and packaging every day. But unfortunately, many of the things we've come to rely on have limited lives and are eventually thrown away. UK households and businesses currently produce more than 60 million tonnes of waste every year. To put that into perspective, that's the same weight as 300 cruise ships. Managing all this rubbish needs a national workforce of more than 120,000 people. It's a 24/7 operation, all year round, to clear away and process the UK's rubbish and recycling.
Around half the rubbish collected from homes and businesses in the UK is now recycled, and plants like this materials recovery facility, which can be found all over the country, help our sector to return recyclable materials back into use, which in turn reduces the need to extract more raw materials from the earth. The waste left over that we can't recycle used to go to landfill, but our sector is replacing landfill with energy recovery facilities, which use the waste to generate electricity and in some cases heat for district heating as well.
So, the recycling and waste sector is doing a great job managing our rubbish. The UK now recycles nearly half of everything it throws away, and the recycling and waste industry wants to help us all recycle even more. Sounds good, but that's only part of the story.
The global climate emergency means urgent efforts are now needed to eliminate the greenhouse gas emissions that cause global warming. The UK has pledged to achieve net zero emissions across our economy by 2050, and the recycling waste management sector has an important role to play to get us there. Plants like this plastic recycling facility reduce waste and conserve natural resources, and limiting the emissions associated with society's waste will help the UK meet its emissions targets.
Recycling waste materials and generating energy from the leftover waste helps to reduce emissions across the economy. In fact, recycling in the UK saved nearly 50 million tonnes of greenhouse gas emissions in 2018 alone. That's the same as taking 10 million cars off the road. But the processes used to recycle and manage our waste also generate emissions. Although these activities save significantly more carbon and other greenhouse gases than they produce, recycling and waste management is still responsible for 8% of all UK emissions.
At the moment, our sector relies on fossil fuel-powered vehicles to collect and transport waste, and recycling plants consume a lot of energy, which comes from an electricity grid that's not yet 100% renewable. Also, when general rubbish is burned to create energy in plants like this, the fossil-based materials in the waste release carbon and other greenhouse gases. The alternative is to bury the waste in landfill, but the organic matter in it rots and releases methane, which is also a powerful greenhouse gas, so either solution generates emissions. However, at the moment, sending this rubbish to energy recovery has a lower emissions impact than sending it to landfill.
The Environmental Services Association is the trade body for the UK's recycling and waste management industry. To help tackle the climate change challenge, the ESA and its members have drawn up an ambitious plan to become a net zero emissions sector by 2040, a full decade ahead of the national target.
Under our net zero strategy, over the next 10 years, ESA members will collectively invest more than £10 billion in new recycling infrastructure, which will help get the UK to 65% recycling and beyond by 2035. We'll improve the energy efficiency of recycling and waste treatment processes and switch to renewable energy sources to power them. We'll also switch to electric and other zero-emission vehicles and stop buying fossil fuel-powered cars and trucks from 2030. For the waste that can't be recycled, we'll stop sending organic materials to landfill completely by 2030, and we'll reduce the volume of plastics in the waste we send to energy recovery, assisted by improvements to recycling. We'll also work with government to develop and use carbon capture and storage technology to capture any remaining emissions from these facilities, and they may even become carbon negative in future, removing more carbon from the atmosphere than they emit.
The recycling and waste sector will take the lead in cutting its emissions, but everyone has a part to play to help reduce the emissions associated with our waste.
Businesses across the economy can help by designing waste out of their products and packaging and by helping their customers to recycle more. Individually, we can do our bit by avoiding waste wherever possible, by continuing to recycle as much as we can, and by only consuming what we need. In particular, reducing the amount of food and plastic we throw away in our general rubbish will really help to drive down the greenhouse gas emissions from the UK's waste now and in the future.
The ESA has set the sector a bold and ambitious challenge, but working alongside the government and our customers, we are confident that we can drive down emissions from recycling and waste management to net zero by 2040. creating thousands of new jobs in green industries and helping the UK become a world leader in the fight against climate change.